What's good, you guys? Daniel Cruz here, back with another episode of Cook with Cruz. We, of course, are going to be breaking down another beat today, and the beat that I'm going to be breaking down is called Loco. I just released this recently on my channel. You might have heard it already. I apologize for being selfish this week and breaking this beat down. I know it wasn't on the list or requested, but I really do like this beat. It's going to emphasize simplicity a lot. It's just one of my favorite beats that I've made recently, and I think you guys will enjoy this breakdown. I also want to address the list of beats and songs that I had that you guys are asking for me to break down. So somebody asked for the interlude track by Mozzie. I really want to do that one. I made that beat probably like 5 years ago. Every time I try to open the FLP, it's like corrupt and it just loads forever and I can never open it. I don't know if you guys have that same experience, but FLPs apparently have an expiration date and they just never want to open again. I will definitely keep trying to open it. That's one of my more favorite beats too. I definitely want to break that down for you guys. So in the meantime, I'll keep trying. We also had Something Special and Unforgettable. Those are both collaborations by myself and Dylan Graham. For those beats specifically, we did go back and forth between FLPs. So the formatting and just how the project file is gonna look kind of weird because I did certain things on an FLP, then I sent him the whole project file. He did certain things, so I may not have everything in my FLP. He might have added stuff and then finished the beat, but I'll go through those anyways and see if I can kind of arrange an episode on that. And then someone mentioned my Scars beats. I'll probably end up doing that next week. That one opens fine. So that's what we're working with on the list of beats that I'm gonna knock out. So please, of course, keep sending me some ideas if you have some. Otherwise, I'm just gonna throw some beats at you and break them down for you. As always, before we jump in today's video, please make sure you hit the like button. Greatly appreciate you if you do. Of course, subscribe, hit the bell, just so you don't miss these episodes every single Sunday. Even if you do happen to miss an episode, if you like, subscribe, hit the bell, you are literally telling YouTube to show you more episodes of what I'm doing here. So if you enjoy the series, I highly recommend you do that. Once we have all those things done, let's get into it and see how Loco was made. Okay, so starting the beat off, we have a sample by Nami. Shout out to him. Heard the sample, vision mode was activated. I knew exactly what I wanted to do with the beat. So let's go ahead, let's play that raw file for you so you can hear what I heard. So I don't know about you, but I heard that and I heard a bounce in my head that I just had to get out. I thought the sample itself was perfect for me, at least. This is actually one of the very few times where I don't really touch the sample at all. Like, I didn't even change the key or the tempo. Like, the tempo for me was super important because it was going to provide that bounce for me that I wanted to do. So in that clip, he made certain sections, which you kind of heard right there when I played it. All I did was cut up those sections so I can kind of use to do little switch ups in the beat. So if we go into our playlist here, this is what we want to see. Simplicity at its finest. So I'll go ahead and run through the intro real quick. It's going to sound pretty much the same, what you just heard. I'm going to loop that for a little bit as we jump into the verse here. But just so we can get an idea of how we're going to start off, this is what it sounds like. So obviously nothing different with the melodies. And that's going to repeat for a good 8 bars to start off our verse after that initial 4 bars. But as I mentioned, the bounce is key here. I'm not going to do a typical kind of 2-step hi-hat pattern. I'm also not going to do a typical 808 pattern, which I'll show you here. So being that we pretty much have our melodies together, let's start going over the drums. I'm going to start with probably the most important part, which is the 808, and I'll show you why that is right now. So going into our drums, this is our 808 pattern. If you notice right away, I'm not going to play anything on our downbeats. Our downbeats are wide open. This is just what I heard and it fit well with the sample. This is going to give it more of a unique kind of bounce. So let's take a listen to our 808. So now we have that. You might not be able to kind of put it together now because that's all we really have. And there's no other drums to kind of reference with it. So let's go ahead and move on here. Next, I'll put in our hi-hats. It's this pattern right here. We'll have an open hat pattern. Gonna use this as a crash. This is our kick drum. This is also super important for kind of what I envisioned. The spots at which the kick comes in is something that I took some time to put them where I really feel they sounded best. This is gonna play in tandem with the 808 and it's just gonna create a nice sound when they play together. This right here is like a percussive tom. This is going to kind of layer with our crash here, more percussion. And last but not least, here's our clap. So those are all of our drums individually played out. So let's go ahead and play all the drums together now so you can kind of get a feel for what I'm working with. So now you're probably kind of hearing what I'm working with, but it's a whole different thing with the melodies. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me, just how the drums is kind of structured out. It just plays really well with the melodies. So if you see when we come in here on the verse, I'm not going to have everything playing and I kind of gradually start bringing drums in. I feel this really kind of builds tension leading up to when the drum's playing full and especially when the kick comes in. So let's run it back to the intro into the verse so you can kind of hear how I build up the drums here. So there it goes right there. We're going crazy with it. At least I think so. And remember, as you can hear, I don't have any kick or 808 hitting on the downbeat, which is more so traditional. Just having it offset created that bounce that I was looking for. And then from here on out, basically, I'm chopping up the other sections of the sample here and putting them in spots to kind of change the beat up a little bit. So what I just played was essentially the first 8 bars of the verse. And after that, we're gonna go into the last 4 bars of the verse or the pre-hook, whatever we want to use it for. This is where I'm gonna use those different sections from the sample to kind of switch it up a bit. So let's go ahead and play it back so we can hear the end of our verse here before we jump into the hook. So now after that section, I did chop up another section from the sample to add another switch up. And this part I'm going to use for the hook. Nami added kind of like this cool little flute sound in here. I thought it would fit well to kind of have as a hook section. So after the end of our verse there, or pre-hook, whatever we want to use it for, we're going to jump into the hook. there we go. There's a hook right there. So that's all we need. As you can see, simple but effective. And then of course, we're going to rinse and repeat and then go into the second verse. So there we have it. That is the entire beat for Loco, one of my more favorite beats that I've made recently. As you can see, simplicity was our big takeaway from this beat here. And I know simple does not mean easy, but once you catch that vibe, don't let it go. Don't do nothing crazy. Once you get the vibe going, like how when I first heard the sample and then had the idea for the drums, that's all I really needed to do. So that's all you would need to do. Two, find a vibe and lock it in. Don't do nothing crazy and stray away. And at the end of the day, you'll have something dope that you can walk away with. But yes, there it is, the beat. Super simple. I'm going to probably knock out the Scars beat next week. In the meantime, please keep leaving me some ideas on beats you want to see broken down. Hit me up in the comments on what you think of this beat as well. If it's your first time hearing it, your feedback is greatly appreciated. Once more, again, please leave that thumbs up on the video for me. You are definitely helping out the series by doing so, so I appreciate you. But other than that, that is all for me today. I will see you guys next Sunday. I'm out. Peace.